In this video, we're going to show you how to disassemble and reassemble your U.S. Army Alpha Black paintball marker. We'll first start off by removing the barrel. We'll remove our magazine, bolt handle cap, and then from there we'll remove the tank adapter bolts and the receiver bolts. Now the reason that we're getting into this gun is we're just going to go through, kind of do some basic parts identification and also some basic maintenance tips. So we're going to go ahead and start off by removing these tank adapter bolts and your receiver bolts. Now you can see that I left the feeder elbow on, and what that's going to do, that's going to prevent your front sight and your spring from popping out. So we're going to leave that on while we're disassembling the marker, and we'll just go ahead and take our receiver half off here. And as you can see, some of the receiver pins are actually stuck to the left hand side here. We'll go ahead and remove that one for our front sight and put that back in place. That pin's to hold your front sight in place there. So just to give you a quick run through of what we're looking at, you have your front sight, you have your front bolt, and we'll get kind of a close-up shot here. There we go. So we have your front bolt, your ball latch, little orange rubber piece. This helps keep the ball in place. So you're only loading one ball into the marker at a time. Then we have our linkage arm, our power tube, and our valve assembly, which is inside the power tube. You also have the hole here for your velocity screw. It's kind of hard to see because it's black, but that's for your velocity adjustments if you need to increase your velocity or lower it. Then you also have your trigger assembly, your safety, your trigger return spring, which will be kind of a silverish yellow kind of tint. You can't really tell here, but it is actually kind of a yellowish tint. Then you have all your receiver pins. You have 4 silver ones and you have 1 black one. The black one is actually steel hardened, and that's for your sear. It's steel hardened because you don't want this pin to ever snap. If it snaps, then it could cause the marker to malfunction. So that's why that's a steel hardened pin, and you always want to make sure that you get this in the correct place. Then you also have your sear spring, which is going to be black in color. Then you also have your rear bolt, and we'll kind of pull your rear bolt back a little bit so you can see the O-ring. Now that we got that O-ring exposed, that's your rear bolt O-ring. Then you have your drive spring. Go ahead and scoot this over the side here. You have your buffer O-ring, which this O-ring just kind of free floats in place here. That just absorbs a lot of the recoil when the gun's being fired. So that just free floats at all times. Sometimes you might get a little oil on there and it'll stick to the cap, which is okay, that's fine. Just as long as you have it back there. So you have your drive spring and your guide pin. Just almost kind of looks like a little nail. Has a little head to it there to kind of keep it in place while it's in the spring. And then you have your end cap here. You always want to make sure that you get your drive spring and your guide pin into the center hole of the end cap, and then just get this little notch here at the top of the end cap into the 12 o'clock position. Just keep that in place. Then you also have your ACT pins for the linkage arm. Those kind of help guide the linkage arm straight when the gun's firing. You also want to make sure that you have those in place at all times. And then we also have our tank adapter nuts. That's what your tank adapter bolts thread into to keep your tank adapter nice and tight to the marker. And some of the basic lubrication points and some of the things that I like to go through and actually check every once in a while when I disassemble my own marker is the front bolt assembly. You just want to make sure it's free and clear of any kind of paint, dirt, or debris. Also the linkage arm groove here, you want to make sure that that's all free and clear of any dirt, paint, or debris, as well as the rear bolt and the drive spring area. You always want to make sure that these are clean and well maintained. Make sure that all your O-rings are nice and well lubricated, and make sure they always look in good shape. If they ever start to look like they're getting worn down or frayed apart or whatever, definitely replace them. And just as far as some of the lubrication points go, the linkage arm slot, I usually put a drop or two in there. You can also put a drop or two on the rear bolt and the rear bolt O-ring. And then I usually put 1 or 2 drops on the spring and guide pin itself. Other than that, it's pretty easy marker to maintain. And we'll just go ahead, we'll get this closed back up. Those are just some of the basic maintenance tips for you there. Real easy to disassemble and reassemble. Go ahead and get that back on there for you. And as far as the bolts go, you don't want to over tighten them. Just kind of, just get them nice and snug. I'm using a drill just to kind of speed up the process, but it's set on a real low torque setting, so I'm not going to strip the bolts out. Go ahead and reinsert our barrel. And we'll also reinstall the magazine. And that's pretty much it for the basic disassemble and reassembly of the US Army Alpha Black.